So Willy came out with this video called "The Most Racist Leftist Slanders Everyone," featuring Wendigo. The simple fact that he named it "The Most Racist Leftist," he's not wrong though. I can't get mad at Willy for it because he's not wrong. Alright, let's get started. It's Willy.
Today we're going to be talking about the most politically brain-rotted video I have ever seen, coming from the horror community of all places. Calling every big content creator who held a gun a far-right YouTuber, getting every detail wrong,
to having multiple ties to other far-right extremist figures. He is friends with Brandon Buckingham, a gun YouTuber who has been accused of threatening rape. He is friends with Oompaville, a gun-obsessed content creator that has taken advantage of Nikado Avocado's mental decline.
Nikado is a character. Have you even watched the videos?
He is
Thank you. Me and Willy have been preaching the good word of Nikado Avocado for years. He is a troll. He is a character. That's all Nikado Avocado is. He's a troll. He's a character. That's it.
friends with Mutahar, who argued against Andrew Tate being deplatformed from social media websites, and has recently showcased a great deal of transphobia in his most recent video.
Oh no, this guy hasn't watched anything. This guy will pearl clutch at every opportunity while at the same time pushing harmful stereotypes, like saying that everyone who lives in Appalachia is a racist.
Okay, Bunny, do not hurt Willy for saying how he said it, okay? Because I know Bunny. Bunny right now, she heard Willy say that, and she is like almost going Super Saiyan from shaking. Yeah, she's angry. Appalachia is how you're supposed to say it. Okay? But he's not from there, Bunny. Okay? Can't get mad at him. He's not from there.
Appalachia is very white country, and for the most part, is exceptionally racist. Genuinely in this part of the country, you have to assume that any white person you meet is racist unless they show you otherwise.
And then he legitimately tries to use this as a point to prove that Wendigoon is a racist because he lives there. I love my job.
And beyond that is the Cherokee Reservation. Wendigoon lives somewhere just on the other side of the reservation. That is not me doxing him. He has said many times publicly that he lives in East Tennessee. And I'm not even saying what town.
You know what's funny? I watched this video 2 times and I didn't realize this is how slow this guy talks. Now, mind you, I have this video at 1.25. That is how slow that guy talked. I don't know how anybody can watch him. I'm gonna be honest. There is no way I could watch his work. There is no way. He talks so slow. Holy crap.
He lives in. According to the latest census, there are only 23 black people who live in Maggie Valley.
But why would this guy push so hard to frame Wendigoon as a racist? Well, it's because he wants to gatekeep the horror movie review genre.
It's true! It's true!
I'm not gonna make it through this.
So what if he's a conservative? Is that a problem? Which the answer to that is yes. But the reason that I care is because this does not belong in horror, or anywhere. I care deeply about horror, and everything that he does has demonstrated so far in his career that he should not be welcomed in our spaces.
It all just reminds me of Hassan saying the word cracker isn't racist and then repeatedly using it in the most racist way possible.
Crime of using the C word, cracker. Did I say, oh my god, saltine cracker, like people are just bitter because it's saltine cracker? That's not what I said, you dumb cracker bitch.
Cracker this.
Oh god. Oh god, you just had to throw Hassan in there, didn't you? Willy has to Willy has to be able to throw Hassan into everything. That is, oh my god. That's his arch nemesis right there. I love Willy. Willy is very good friend of the channel. Very good friend of the channel. I love me some Willy.
Cracker that. All this talk of crackers is making me hungry, but I don't want some sugary snack. Good thing I have a magic spoon.
Okay, Willy. Okay, Willy there, buddy. Bucko. All this talk of crackers.
For sponsoring this video.
Nobody even wants you here.
In Praise of Shadows, also known as Zane, is a horror movie review YouTuber. He loves focusing on the political analysis of film and relating everything back to being left-leaning, which is fine, it's his content, but it does come off as a bit cringe at times. He reviewed The Hills Have Eyes.
It comes off very, very preachy. Okay, how he did that video that he has now taken down, the way he did that video, if that's how he does his movie reviews, he is very preachy. And I can only go off by that one video because I do not care to watch any of his videos. No thank you. because he came off like a preachy McPreacherson person. And no thank you. I don't want to be preached at. I just want to know about the damn movie. I don't want to be preached at.
This is a film about cannibals killing and eating a family who get lost on their summer vacation. And psychologically, most when they watch this will be on the side of the vacationing family, and wish for them to survive and make it out and get back home. And why is that?
It's because they're cannibals.
Because if you look at this from the perspective of the Hill people, they are only defending what is theirs, this land that they call home. To say that the Hill people and the New Yorkers are of the same nation would only be true in the strictest definition, in that they happen to live within the same borders, but culturally, they couldn't be more different. The Hills Have Eyes is a clash of when you take two types of people who hold absolute contempt for one another.
Wait! What? This is the reason why people gave him crap about his Hill Has Eyes video. Oh, dude. Did he compare the Hill Has Eyes to the BLM movement? Did he really do that? Please don't tell me he did that. Did he really do that? Oh my God. No. Bruh. No.
And then you proceed to call them both American and equals, who supposedly have the same opportunities at birth.
Oh, my bad. I guess it's about BLM in January 6th. He ended up getting memed on quite a bit for this video, with the top comment saying, "This video, the family had a flat tire and momentarily tried to retrieve their lost dog. So who's the real murdering cannibalistic rapist here? It was self-defense."
Wait. And he wonders why he got shit for that? You literally took this movie and compared it to BLM and January 6th? What? Oh my God. The Darling Rat for 2. POS sees racism everywhere. Yes. Yes. POS does seem like the type of person that sees racism everywhere while simultaneously being racist. It's amazing.
I don't know. It's weird to say someone's invading your land when all that happened is they crashed their car and went looking for their lost dog.
And as he falls to the ground, the symbol of inherited generational wealth, education, and power stands over his already dying body and stabs him repeatedly in the heart. Not to kill him, which at this point is already an inevitability, but to remind him of his place.
Or maybe it was just to kill the cannibal that attacked him and his family. I don't know, just my interpretation. The reason why we're talking about this is because he dropped a 3-hour-long video titled Bad Conservative Horror Movies, which is not about conservative movies at all. The video is split into 3 parts. Part 1 is calling everyone stupid for not agreeing with his Hill.
And again, I still maintain 2020, he jacked up in views, right? Everybody was home. It was the middle of the panini, okay? He has plateaued. That's all that has happened to your channel, bro. You have plateaued. Because look, they're just about the same. You have plateaued. God, it's right there, bro. It's right there.
Hills Have Eyes review and blaming his audience's stupidity for his channel dying.
I don't think that most of them have actually even watched it. And I kind of want to look at this, because posting that video was a huge negative turning point in my life. And the way that one video was received has really impacted everything around me. Before that, I was relatively comfortable financially. I could make the kinds of videos that I wanted to, and have honestly struggled very badly ever since then.
He's like, nobody treats me like a person anymore, despite none of the comments being that bad.
They don't even treat me like a person.
He's so dramatic. Of course you're going to lose viewers if you're going to gatekeep horror movies from everyone who's not extremely left-leaning.
You know, and I'm going to say this too. If you sit there and act like a robot and you preach at people, I'm not going to treat you like a human either. Because you're not acting like a human. Because you don't understand nuance. You don't have a sense of humor. And all you want to do is preach at people because if they don't agree with you, they're automatically wrong. I'm not going to treat you like a human being either.
Horror is an intrinsically left, punk, anti-establishment, countercultural art form that is primarily concerned with social issues and pushing boundaries beyond what is deemed acceptable by traditional, more conservative, polite society. There's no other way that you can rationally look at it and still exist within reality.
The vast majority of viewers just want to see the scary thing and hear the scary story. Of course you're going to lose viewers if you talk like a gatekeeping douchebag.
Yes!
He goes on to this.
Yes! Thank you, Willy! Yes! Willy, he is the man of the people. Willy is the man of common sense. That's the one thing I love about Willy's videos. He doesn't have to say a bunch of pretty words to make his point. He literally talks like your everyday dude, okay? He talks like the guy that you go and have a beer on the front porch and just chill with. He's right. You talk like that, dude, people are gonna say shit back to you.
Credit every other creator who doesn't apply his same politics to their analysis.
Folks constantly talk about the political undertones in my videos, but horror is an unabashedly political genre that is concerned directly with issues facing the current society. And if you're in the horror space and you don't regularly acknowledge this foundation as a challenge to power, then I just assume you're in it for the money, or that you don't actually care, or you're just really bad at your job. And if that makes you uncomfortable or upset that I often do that in my videos,
He's so smug. He's so, I don't know if I ever want to have a conversation with this guy. He's so smug. Like he knows everything. I hate that.
that's probably a good thing.
It's a very pretentious video that only becomes more unself-aware when he starts to complain about the drop in viewership hurting his ability to pay bills.
There was a month last year where I only made $500 in ad revenue. I can't live off that. The amount of times that I've almost had to stop making videos since then has been almost monthly. I've barely been able to keep this afloat.
Yes, Janelle, you are 100% correct. He has the smartest guy in the room syndrome. Yes. Yes, that's exactly what it is. 100%.
paid my rent late most months for the past year.
Now let me get this straight. This guy isolates his viewers that aren't on the extreme left, tells them to leave and that horror isn't for them, and then cries when his viewership goes down. You can't make this up. But you know what? I still kind of feel bad for him. Living paycheck to paycheck is hard. Trying to go full-time on YouTube is also hard. But I fail to show any empathy when he's continually shooting himself in the foot, and then he's turning down sponsors.
I, as a blanket rule, have never accepted gifts or sponsorship for my work, even though I get a constant stream of email offers about them.
Bro, what? You do realize that full-time YouTubers, you know, ones that, like, are bigger YouTubers, that's how they make their money. I mean, they make their money off of YouTube, but it's the sponsors that really do it. Most YouTubers who do just videos, it's the sponsors. That's how they make their money. You could still get a yellow dollar sign, but still make bank because of the views on it, because you had a sponsor. So how are you complaining about not making money, but yet you aren't accepting sponsors? What? Oh my God.
Have never accepted gifts or sponsorship for my work, even though I get a constant stream of email offers about them.
This guy is just a struggling artist. He's better than us.
Either way, you sadly became full of yourself, mourning over your poor artist soul and drowning in self-pity.
But it does seem a little tone deaf to cry to your audience about bills while you're leaving money on the table. He spends the rest of the video pearl clutching. A guy wants the horror movie Abigail to gross more than Civil War, and that's somehow fundamentalist Christian language.
This is the kind of language that fundamentalist Christians use, and we are subjecting people to listening to it in relation to a moderately decent movie about vampire children eating people. But it really is that kind of Orwellian fascist idea.
A character live streams in a horror movie and the chat says the F slur.
The comment section that is on screen at all times constantly uses slurs, including the word multiple times.
Oh, I remember when I was like that. Skip knows this. Skip knows this. Skip's been with me long enough. I remember when I used to tone police really hard, and I used to talk about how, like, N-word towers were being done in people's chats, and they would use the F slur and stuff like that. I remember being that tone policing douchebag. And the sad thing is when you're doing that, you think you're trying to help people by calling that out. You think you're actually trying to make things better by calling that out, but in reality, you're not. You're not. Yeah, you think you're being respectful. Exactly, Skip. You know? I remember being that way. And it's not the way to do it. Honestly. Tone policing is not the way to do it. Because if anything, you go to try to tone police someone, they'll go even harder. Yeah, exactly. Not everyone is going to abide by your values. 100%. I had to learn that.
From what I can tell, neither Shepard nor Savage are actually queer, but I can't find conclusive evidence to say that 100%.
Tarantino movies say the N-word and he isn't black. Is this an R-rated piece of media or not? Let's face it, we all know if the lady from Halloween was streaming, some asshole would be in the comments calling her the F-slur. A film director says he doesn't care about COVID, and Zane frames as him wanting to kill all of his employees.
I'm not trying to put words in his mouth, but at least to me, when I read that, it seems that he is implying that he did not care if his employees got COVID under his command and possibly died, so long as the product continued to get made.
He's so smug. This guy is so smug. I hate hearing him. I hate hearing his voice. He's so smug.
and that he could get even more wealthy.
This tweet was made in 2022. Nobody cared about COVID anymore in 2022. A director was a guest on Ben Shapiro, so that means he's a Nazi.
One of his biggest crimes against horror to me is that he sat down to be a guest on the Ben Shapiro show. You know, the old 1940s phrase that roughly goes, if you have 10 people and one Nazi willingly sitting down for a meal together, then all you have is 11 Nazis. So, if one film executive sits down with a fascist for a civil conversation, then all you have are two fascists being broadcast over the internet.
And this leads into a 40-minute
Guilt by association.
unhinged rant saying Wendigoon, another horror YouTuber, is a fascist along with everyone he's interacted with on Twitter. He says Wendigoon can't analyze horror content because he has money and owns a gun.
I have no need or desire to hear 5 hours of opinions on Blood Meridian from a 21-year-old millionaire who got famous around the age of 19. There are some works that fundamentally will not be understood by you if you are wealthy and have always been upper class your entire life. And this may all sound condescending, but that doesn't stop it from being somewhat true. There are many things that are red flags that we could talk about, from the bizarre gun ownership, the flagrant use from...
I hate this. I hate the fact that someone is automatically an evil conservative because they own guns. Again, I am nowhere near conservative. I am nowhere near conservative, okay? We have guns. We have guns. My husband, matter of fact, we were talking about like moving to a different state and whatever, and my husband already has it checked off what states we are not moving to because of his guns. I mean, and I'm not conservative. Guess what? People on the left have guns too. It is amazing. If he had money, he wouldn't have made this vid. I actually agree with you, Luna. If he was making money, he would have never made this video.
my perspective, of his religion as a shield from criticism, to the belief that he at one point followed many far-right accounts on Twitter from Kyle Rittenhouse to Parler.
Of course somebody who owns a gun is going to be supportive of Kyle Rittenhouse. It's a self-defense case where Kyle was found innocent. Of course he's going to be following him. These are the most surface-level observations. He owns gun, bad. He rich, bad. I find it funny that earlier in this same video, Discount Noah Samson says this isn't going to be a video just listing off.
Everybody has been going around calling him Noah Samson. Everybody has been calling him Noah Samson. It's funny. It is so funny.
Bad. I find it funny that earlier in the same video, Discount Noah Samson says this isn't going to be a video just listing off people he hates on Twitter.
I promise that this video is not going to turn into a list of people who annoyed me on Twitter.
It's exactly that.
And I hope that this is becoming obvious to you as well. In my opinion, there is a regular pattern of behavior there, from supporting Rittenhouse to having multiple ties to other far-right extremist figures. Wendigoon is very publicly friends with Turkey Tom. They have been seen together on multiple occasions, and I've seen online mentions. The Tom...
Who cares? Who cares?
was either at his wedding or at the very least was invited.
When he says Wendigoon is friends with far-right fascists, I'm thinking Nick Fuentes, Baked Alaska, not Turkey Tom, the commentary YouTuber.
Tom has been accused of using the N-word multiple times in private conversations, including these screenshots of texts that are alleged to be real.
They are real. These messages Tom sent in high school will haunt them forever.
Yes, Tom will never live those down. Those, he will forever relive November of 2018 for the rest of his life. Okay? he will never live it down. Never.
Of texts that are alleged to be real.
They are real. These messages Tom sent in high school will haunt them forever.
And he's also been accused of saying that the upper tiers of his Patreon were intended for Jews with deep pockets.
That's also true. Hey, you never asked. That's why you're struggling to pay your bills. Jews with deep pockets, you're welcome to join my Patreon.
Wendigoon.
Jesus Christ, Willy. Jesus Christ, Willy. Oh my God. Oh.
Is publicly connected to the Internet Historian, and has even appeared in his videos. The Internet Historian publicly said that his birthday was April 20th. It is not, and has only said that as a joke because that is Hitler's birthday.
Okay. Is that it? This guy doesn't explain anything. He just points out one edgy joke these people have said as if that's proof of right-wing extremism and then moves on.
Wendigoon is publicly friends with Donut Operator, and even retweeted a photograph of the two of them hugging. Donut Operator is a gun-crazed, very far-right YouTuber with 4 million subscribers.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to back this up with solid evidence.
His content is very pro-state, pro-cop, pro-gun, and pro-death to people who don't share his beliefs propaganda. For example, one of his videos is titled Predator Takes Shotgun to the Face, and features a picture of him smiling in the corner of the thumbnail next to an image of a terrified man about to be executed by cops, with the text that reads, head removal.
Did you watch the video? Donut Operator is reviewing a case where a 7-year-old was being harmed, and when the police came in, the guy reached for his gun, leading to his death. Why?
I don't have a problem with that video. I am personally happy that video happened. I'm okay with it. The guy was harming a child. He was holding the child and the family at gunpoint. I don't have a problem that he passed away. That's less of my tax dollars having to keep that mofo alive in prison. No, I am 100% okay with it. I see nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
Why are you making it sound like you're against this? The criticism from Zane is missing context and is extremely bad faith.
Windigoon seems very comfortable with a man who makes his living worshipping violence committed by the state. He's a man of no conviction, claiming to be very against the government and for the rights of the people, while at the same time giving a warm embrace to one of the biggest fascist bootlickers on the internet.
The example he used is of a pedophile. How dare Windigoon be friends with Donut Operator even though he supports cops stopping pedos? What a bootlicker, a man of no conviction.
The only thing that
Oh, this guy is getting cooked all over YouTube. This guy is getting cooked. Once again, why? Why would you go after that particular friend group with nothing? You literally had nothing. And you thought it was a good idea to go after all those guys. You have lost the plot in life. If you thought you were not going to get dragged from one end of the internet to the other, bro. And the sad thing is, and honestly, the karmatic thing about it is every single one of those people you tried to drag have more successful channels than you do. So therefore, more people will probably watch their videos collectively than watch your video. That's the funny thing.
one could reasonably gather from this picture of them hugging is that he too is a fascist bootlicker himself.
Or maybe they're friends because they have stuff in common, like making YouTube videos and liking guns. But I'm just spitballing here.
He has collaborated with Nick Crowley, who constantly makes money through the most morbid and shameful true crime content, of showcasing the last minutes of people before they are suddenly and unexpectedly killed.
Isn't that all true crime, all Forensic Files episodes? How is this evidence of anything?
He is publicly friends with Shoe on Head, who is a conservative masquerading as a leftist, who has built a career off of lazy anti-woke content, complaining about SJWs.
What is wrong with y'all? This is why y'all are losing the culture war. Literally.
Who says stuff like, Karl Marx rising from the grave, finding out his movement has been taken over by fat,
ugly, mentally ill losers who think being healthy is fascism and can't even own guns because they will kill themselves. Where is Shoe on Head wrong with that?
ugly, mentally ill losers.
He's mad because she's talking about him.
He is friends with Brandon Buckingham, a gun YouTuber who has been accused of threatening rape.
Hold up, I've watched a lot of Brandon Buckingham. He has shot guns. He is in no way a gun YouTuber. This is like saying iDubbbz or Ethan are gun YouTubers. It makes no sense. As for threatening rape, he never did that. That is a lie Sneeko told. Zayn is pushing a false rape allegation in the same video he's crying about being slandered for his film analysis.
Exactly. Hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. His whole video was nothing but hypocrisy.
There is this thing that the internet does, where one person says something that is false but sounds believable and is tangentially related to what actually happened, and then other people start to repeat it out of context and morph it.
Wait a minute. Now listen to what he says. Wait a minute. Listen to what he says.
Film analysis.
There is this thing that the internet does, where one person says something that is false but sounds believable and is tangentially related to what actually happened, and then other people start to repeat it out of context.
Isn't that what he did with his video? What he saw on Twitter and what he saw on Reddit, it sounded believable to him. So then he put it in a video like it was a fact. He did the exact thing that he just spoke about in this video.
And morph it, and slowly escalate it, until it just becomes general belief, even though it is detached from reality. The cruel and untrue things that you say about another person do in fact have direct impacts on them and the way that people culturally see them.
Bro.
Funny how you say that, because that's what you did in your video.
You're doing that, but instead of it being about the hills have eyes, it's about a rape allegation, something that matters. He goes on like this for over half an hour.
You know what? I love it. Panic. I love it. In praise of projection. I love that. That is a beautiful comment. You are absolutely correct. In praise of projection. That should be his name.
The Hills Have Eyes, it's about a rape allegation, something that matters. He goes on like this for over half an hour.
He is friends with Oompaville, a gun-obsessed content creator that has taken advantage of Nakado Avocado's mental decline for fame and for money, and on top of that has made content with the human trafficker Andrew Tate.
Nikocado is an act. He puts it on. This guy is so socially inept, he doesn't even realize it.
It's an act. He's a troll. Nikocado Avocado is a troll. The character you see on YouTube is exactly that. It is a character. He knew what to do to make money. Honestly, Willy and I have been preaching that for years.
Oop! Oop! That's my scooter! My precious scooter!
You just know this guy turns on WWE and thinks Triple H actually broke into Randy Orton's house. And as far as Andrew Tate, it was a respectable interview that took place before the human trafficking charges even came to fruition. He's retroactively criticizing an interview that was very well received at the time and was handled better than most mainstream media outlets.
He is friends with Mutahar, who argued against Andrew Tate being deplatformed from social media websites.
I was against it also. I can't fight somebody if they're not there. And I don't like the effect that it has because it makes them into a martyr. You literally make them a victim once you take their platforms away. And the people that follow them will follow them even harder because they see them as a victim now. So no, I don't agree with it either.
Outlets.
He is friends with Mutahar, who argued against Andrew Tate being deplatformed from social media websites.
I'm against deplatforming Andrew Tate too, and I exposed him to a greater extent than most mainstream media outlets, to the point where they would wait till my video comes out and post an article the next day citing the exact same sources I used in my video.
And Willy did a lot of good work on the Andrew Tate case. He did a lot of good work. He did a lot of research, and he worked his butt off on that. His videos on Andrew Tate are amazing. Really good work. If you haven't watched them, you need to go and watch them. He did really good work on that.
Unless they're a convicted child predator, I'm against deplatforming because it leads to these hateful conspiratorial echo chambers that go unchallenged, festering in the background. There was a while where it seemed like every creator was getting banned, from Leafy to Gideon to Aiden Ross. It's better if everyone's just in the same place where people can routinely make Nick look like an idiot for his worldview.
But what if we're living in the same house and there's a fight over, who gets to shower when, and who gets this seat on the couch, and these are the kinds of things that happen in a dense...
Wait, do you think
FYI, this was a crazy discussion to watch. I highly recommend people going and watching this. This was crazy to watch. Crazy.
Fight with him because he's black over that?
I wouldn't fight about stuff like that. And
I want to hear the answer to Desi's question.
Well, yeah. Would you fight more with a black person over who gets to use the shower?
Yes. And here's why.
Otherwise,
oh God, I can't stand Nick Fuentes. Oh.
More people are going to turn into Sneeko. We don't need more Sneekos.
He is friends with Mutahar, who argued against Andrew Tate being deplatformed from social media websites, and has recently showcased a great deal of transphobia in his most recent video.
Is he going to give any argument for why the video is transphobic? No, of course not. It's because it isn't. So much of this video is, oh look, Windigoon responded to a tweet and that account likes some sus stuff. As if Windigoon is supposed to be aware of that. So what did Windigoon do? Not one of his friends, not one of his followers, him. Well, apparently he started a white supremacist group.
We could talk about his past and supposedly being a founding member in an online conspiracy theory group that, according to him, snowballed out of control into being a white supremacist neo-Nazi organization called the Boogaloo Boys. His online username at the time was Boogaloo Boy, and he claims to be the first to have started using it, but that he left the group and became Windigoon after things started to get out of hand. And this is not a conspiracy theory in itself. Shockingly, he literally has said so in writing.
Windigoon admitted this was him creating a meme page where it was taken over by more and more extreme people until he left. It really isn't that damning unless you're going to be extremely uncharitable, which he is.
Especially when how old he was when he started it. He was a kid. He was literally a kid. Jesus Christ.
Also, it should be noted that the Boogaloo Boys are known for wearing Hawaiian shirts. And guess who else always has on a Hawaiian shirt, despite the fact that he publicly totally does not share in their beliefs, guys.
Zane, it's a popular style of shirt. You're wearing the shirt. What's weirder, Windigoon wearing a Hawaiian shirt because that's what he likes to wear, or this leftist wearing a Hawaiian shirt even though he thinks it's a racist dog whistle? Is this—
I mean, true?
That's what he likes to wear, or this leftist wearing a Hawaiian shirt even though he thinks it's a racist dog whistle? Is this like Vosh's tactical N-word? This video has zero research behind it, zero common sense. Zane sits there and speculates on how wealthy Windigoon is, as if that means he can't talk about horror movies.
Not to mention the fact that Windigoon was raised in a very wealthy family, and with that comes from a wealthy perspective. He himself has inadvertently admitted that his family at one point had millions of dollars.
My whole thing is instead of speculating this guy's apparel, why not just reach out to him and ask him questions? So I did. He said he worked at a gun store, he liked guns, so he made a meme page about guns. Around 2019, 2020, the joke became super serious to some people, who began to see it as a for the people movement, which was fine at first, but then people began to apply to whatever their political stance was, and it became a mess, so he left. There is no evidence that Wendigoon radicalized anybody. Extremists stole the meme, that's all the evidence available.
And you know how many memes get stolen by extremists on the left or the right? Do you know how many memes get stolen that the meme starts off as wholesome, but then other people take it over and turn it into something completely different? It happens all the time.
There is no evidence that Wendigoon radicalized anybody. Extremists stole the meme, that's all the evidence available. I asked Wendigoon if Zayn ever reached out to him before making his video. He said no, he never reached out. There was a lot he got wrong, even objectively, that I would have been happy to clear up even for a hit piece. For instance, my parents were not rich. In the quote he even reads, I say my dad lost everything, and that was all before I was born.
So he didn't grow up rich. He didn't grow up rich at all. POS was literally jealous of Wendigoon's success. And he saw a bunch of posts on Reddit, most likely, and ran with it. Just saying.
So Zayn never even reached out for clarification before assuming the worst from this guy and everyone who's ever appeared in a photo with him. I did more research in the 3 minutes it took to reach out than his 3-hour video. It's embarrassing. In 2019, the Boogaloo Boys became an official group, and Zayn attributes every crime they did to Wendigoon.
Do you remember when armed men were arrested a few years ago for planning the kidnapping of Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmire? That was the Boogaloos. Do you remember when white people showed up at the George Floyd protests and caused property damage and violence in the hopes that black people would be blamed for that? That was the Boogaloos. He was just like, oh geez, sorry guys, about starting a violent hate group, guys. Sorry that people got killed. I totally didn't mean to do all that.
He left. Again, you put so much nonsensical, no facts having bullshit in your video. It was amazing. Like, this literally, you know what? I am putting this video, even though it's not up anymore, okay? I am putting this video as nominating it for worst video of 2024 so far. Now, granted, we're getting ready to step into June, all right? But so far, I think this is probably the worst video of 2024. I honestly believe that.
My bad. I'll do better next time.
Am I missing something? Was Wendigoon there? Is there any evidence that he supports any of this? No, it is the most baseless and unhinged analysis I have ever seen. Zayn becomes borderline racist towards Wendigoon at times, doxing him.
Wendigoon and I are practically neighbors, and I know this area very well. Okay, so I live in Asheville, North Carolina, and between that and the reservation, you have the community of Lake Junaluska, which isn't actually even a real town. You can walk across the whole thing in a matter of minutes. You got Waynesville, you have Maggie Valley, and a few other small drive-by communities. And beyond that is the Cherokee Reservation. Wendigoon lives somewhere just on the other side of the reservation. That is not me doxing him. He has said many times publicly that he lives in East Tennessee, and I'm not even saying what town he lives in. According to the latest census, there are only 23 black people who live in Maggie Valley. There are 15 Native Americans despite it touching the reservation. Most of this area used to be sundown town.
Bro, what is it? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, I hate this video so much.
It is about as white as you could possibly get, genuinely in this part of the country. You have to assume that any white person you meet is racist unless they show you otherwise.
Oh, he's white and he lives there, therefore he's racist. That's the level of critical thinking taking place, but not you. You're one of—
It's so retarded. It's so retarded. So wait.
the good white guys. Oompaville.
Wait a minute. So does that mean you're racist then? Are you saying that people need to automatically assume, because he's from Asheville, right? Are people supposed to automatically think you're racist? I mean, you kind of show it in your video, don't get me wrong. But are people supposed to automatically think you're racist? Because look where you're from. I'm just saying. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, right?
He's racist. That's the level of critical thinking taking place, but not you. You're one of the good white guys. Oompaville tweeted, imagine shitting on some of the most systemically forgotten and impoverished people in America and thinking you were virtuous or moral because they happen to be white. Then getting called out saying, you guys know my heart was in the right place. Zayn is a picturesque example of true bigotry masquerading as an enlightened tortured genius that operates with empathy, nuance, and compassion above all else. There are so many of these people, it's so f***ed up how lost some smart people are. He tries to say Wendigoon is a racist for his name, saying he's disrespecting natives for using the word Wendigo.
Then of course, there is his username. To the Algonquin people, the Wendigo is a negative spiritual symbol that is to be avoided and whose name is to never even be—
Okay, so your name is In Praise of Shadows? then you know what? You must be a Satanist. We're going to call him a Satanist. You must be a Satanist. In praise of shadows. That sounds like some satanic shit right there. You must be a Satanist. Bunny Button said, I speak for the shadow people, and they don't like that. Exactly. Bunny is the representative for the shadow people, and they don't like your name. Okay? Alright.
And whose name is to never even be said out loud or written down. So I know there's a bit of a hypocrisy there on my part, but we kind of do have to say it for academic purposes, so apologies for that.
There's nothing academic about this video. This is like saying Blizzard can't make Diablo or Harry Potter shouldn't exist because some Christians got upset. Nobody cares.
But don't you think it is extremely weird and off-putting that all of his fans call him Dad? Isn't that really strange?
Okay, it's a meme. They have a meme by calling him Dad. Good God.
Strange?
No? Are you trying to imply something? He never elaborates. He just throws it out there and moves right along. He then acts like Wendigoon following him on Twitter was some sort of psychological threat.
Right in the midst of this going on, a very funny thing happened, and that Wendigoon followed me on Twitter. I was not following him at the time. He never publicly told people to stop calling me a friend. He never once
You know, God forbid that he watched a video of yours and actually liked it, which I'm going to be honest, with the way as slow as you talk, I don't know how he watched that video and liked it, but he did. He liked your video on Slender Man, and he decided to follow you. Oh my God. That's horrible. How dare he?
Reached out to me privately, but he did follow me, which means in my eyes that he 100% knew what was happening because I did tweet about it several times, and then followed me to let me know that he knew, and that he was watching, and that he intended to do nothing to stop it. What other motivation could he have had there to follow me in that specific moment, other than to be a method of quiet and deniable intimidation? What other way could that have been read from my perspective? That was the moment that pushed me over the edge to make this video.
You know, I agree. Tori, I agree. If we cancel Wendigoon for anything, we should cancel him for following POS. That's why we should cancel Wendigoon. Not for anything else, because all the rest of it was bullshit. We should cancel Wendigoon because he had the caucasity to follow POS. We're going to use POS's logic against him. Cancel for liking that video. That's it. We're canceling Wendigoon for liking that Slender Man video and for following him on Twitter. That's what we're canceling him for.
Ends the video by calling everyone Nazis.
Clearly, as we have seen, everything that he does has deep political motivations.
You haven't shown one example.
And if they don't want to be seen as a big group of Nazis, then let's see how they react to this video's existence.
Oh, boy, did they react. Boy, did you get a react to this video. Oh my God.
Because I am certain they will be very level-headed about all of this.
How does he not see the irony in this statement? Wendigoon would leave a comment on his video. Please, no one harass or comment rude things on my behalf. I do not agree with or condone meanness in any way. If you were here to leave a spiteful remark on my behalf, don't. Nothing good comes from anger. I want to apologize for people saying awful things to you on Twitter. I did not know this was happening. I followed you because I saw your Slender Man video and enjoyed it. Then I saw you in my recommended follows. It sounds—
That's why we should cancel Wendigoon. He saw a video of his and he liked it. That's why we need to cancel Wendigoon. Not for any of the other shit, but for that.
Sounds like you strongly dislike me, and that's okay. But if I have done anything to cause that, I apologize. So Zane is schizoing out in the corner, coming up with conspiracy theories about why this is a threat, when in reality, Wendigoon just liked his videos. Even when I DM'd Wendigoon, he was nothing but polite towards Zane, saying, I feel bad for him. This guy seems to have a lot of hate in his heart, and that can't be easy on the bones.
Aww. He's better than me. I wouldn't have said that in the DMs.
It's clearly not. Zane speaks as if his only purpose in life is to make political horror videos.
The only thing I have of value left to me in this world is my writing and my perspective.
Wendigoon would continue to write, I don't have any malice and I meant what I said in my comment on the video. I hope nobody harasses him on my behalf. If I make a tweet saying that, however, that'll drive more eyes towards him. And I don't want to do that as a lot of people are mad regardless of what I say. I wish him the best and hope he finds what he's looking for. Zane would then delete the entire Wendigoon section of his video and tweeted, many people have said very fair criticism of my work and that I did not appropriately portray people. And I would like to address that. He apologizes to Brandon Buckingham for pushing his false rape allegations, saying, to be honest, I saw pictures of you with Turkey Tom, Donut Operator, Wendigoon, and Brandon Herrera, and often with guns in your hand. I wrote you off.
What has that got to do with a false rape allegation? Like what, bro? Oh my God.
I did not feel like you were worth my time, and that was a result of the company you keep. Ultimately, that is a failing on me, though, and how I presented that. It's such a backhanded apology. Him having a gun does not make him a bad person.
No, it doesn't. Absolutely not. It does not make... Owning a gun does not make somebody a bad person. At all. At all. And to think that is a bit too extreme for me.
He goes, Brandon used homophobic language towards me through calling me a low testosterone freak. I don't even know how that's homophobic. What, are you on estrogen? He then goes on to Mudahar. Your thumbnail art was transphobic. I have nothing else to say to that. No explanation, no argument. He just goes on to play victim. I was overcome with anger because I think it's incredibly dangerous that there's a man in horror that you cannot criticize without being called the F slur for days on end. I think that is a serious issue. Then talk about that. Maybe you could work something out instead of coming up with conspiracies about him and his friends.
That's the whole thing. It was all a conspiracy theory. And the sad thing is you people on the left, y'all like to talk about the extremists on the right and how they have conspiracy theories, yet y'all work with conspiracy theories. Like, bro, what? It's the same thing, just a different side of the coin. Literally. You are literally IPOS. You have become exactly what you're trying to work against. A conspiracy nut. That is hypocritical. And you don't do any research, and you work off lies and propaganda. You are literally a different side of the same coin.
I also think it's telling that the bulk of what I said has not actually been addressed at all. Bro, you haven't said anything based in reality. I feel like people have addressed you very clearly. He blames all of his problems on conservatives and says that he's taking down that part of the video as well as taking a month off. I thought you lived paycheck to paycheck. How are you taking a month off? This guy cannot be real. If you felt like you have been mischaracterized, that was not my intention and I genuinely am sorry. Just to be perfectly clear, every single person you mentioned feels like they were mischaracterized. I care so much about horror. It is my life. I grew tired and scared of seeing hate growing on the fringe of something I care so deeply about. Horror is about kindness. Horror is about love. Until next time, Zane. Bro, what are you talking about? This video was so hateful. He posted a similar—
Thank you. Thank you. It was hateful. That video was completely hateful. That Wendigoon section was disgusting.
message on his Patreon talking about how tricky it is to talk about cultural appropriation as a white man and that he only meant to do good with his slanderous video. He then took down his YouTube video completely and made a community post where he apologizes but then acts like the victim, saying, I do think it's dangerous these creators don't acknowledge the obvious situation at play. He'd delete this too because his own community disagrees with him. The reason people say too much politics rots your brain is because you start to view people in terms of teams instead of judging them as individuals.
Yes. There you go. Willy summed up the world's problem, or at least the problem in this country.
When people say too much politics rots your brain is because you start to view people in terms of teams instead of judging them as individuals. So
there you go. Willy summed it up perfectly. Because that's the problem. That's the problem. That's why, and I hate to bring it back to Keppels, okay? But that's why Keppels went so long without getting checked by anybody in her community. Because they looked, y'all heard Denham's. Denham's like, yeah, I don't like to talk about anybody on the left. I'd rather talk about people on the right. But if those people on the left are doing wrong, shouldn't you call them out? No, they're part of the same team, so we can't. That's why Keppels got away with what she got away with for so long. Yeah, they have turned it into a team sport. Well, guess what? Sometimes you gotta check your teammates.
Suddenly, everybody who owns a gun is a gun-crazed fascist.
Gun YouTuber, a gun-obsessed content creator, gun-crazed, very far-right YouTuber.
Everybody who supports the police for stopping child abuse is a bootlicker.
The only thing that one could reasonably gather from this picture of them hugging is that he, too, is a fascist bootlicker.
No, it looks like they're friends. They're friends. That's literally what that picture says. They are friends. It is not all this deep shit that you're trying to make it out. They are literally friends. Oh, God forbid. They're friends.
For himself.
It's important to remember that you most likely have more in common with your Republican or Democrat neighbor than you do with Hassan or Andrew Tate. These people's brands thrive off division, and I genuinely believe Zane is a product of that. Hopefully this is his wake-up call. If not, just another cow to add to the herd. Yeehaw! Subscribe.
Yeehaw! Cause we drama farming, baby. We drama farming.